We're going to have fun today.
We are going to have fun. It was, I tell you what, there's a chance, if you're a Nebraska fan, that this weekend was almost overwhelming with all the news coming out. Now, that's going to be the case when you have a new staff that has very little time to recruit, and with the early signing period starting up this Wednesday, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out, to get players in this class, to know who's leaving, who's coming in. This was always going to be chaos, and this can be fun.
It doesn't have to be a drain. Our guys at huskeronline.com, they really covered the hell out of it. And there was a lot. And I think the headline, the biggest thing, of course, was getting a commitment, I guess you'd call it, from a player out of the transfer portal by the name of Jeff Sims.
Jeff Sims, we knew, had visited Nebraska before the Arkansas quarterback had Malik Hornsby.
Right.
But Jeff Sims,
last weekend he visited.
6'3", 215-pound quarterback, dual threat from Georgia Tech. It went a lot of. It sounds a lot like Adrian in certain elements, where they didn't win a lot of games as a football team, but he had respectable stats, right, as a quarterback.
He completed 300. Can we do this?
Let's do the stats.
I won't throw a bunch of stats at people. I know it's really early, but basic ones: 364 completions out of 633 attempts. That's okay. 57.5. Does that
a little lower than what you want? Okay. A little lower.
57.5% passer for 4,464 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 23 picks. So that's 2 seasons of starting, essentially.
Again, not the best, but not bad.
On the ground, he rushed for 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns on 277 attempts. That's 4.2 yards there. On 3 ranks Jeff Sims, Nebraska's new quarterback, as the 18th best available quarterback in the portal. How's that sit with you? It's pretty good, right?
Better than 20th,
That's not bad. I mean, it's not
take
bad. That. And I think from what Sean Callahan tells me, it looks like they can still get Hornsby. Now, this is going to shake up the room.
Well, that if you do add Malik Hornsby from Arkansas, then the question is going to be, all right, okay, let's start with number 1, Casey Thompson.
Well, yeah, what's Casey's situation?
If you're adding 2 transfer quarterbacks and Jeff Sims and potentially Malik Hornsby, your starting quarterback, I think people thought was pretty good last year. I mean, obviously he had injury problems, but that was with the offensive line not blocking for him or not protecting well enough. But he was a pretty good passer, a good quarterback. I would guess if you asked most Nebraska fans who don't have say in how this goes, but if you asked most Nebraska fans, they would say, I'd like him back. I'd like him to be potentially the starting quarterback again, right? Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, he did have the conversation complicated by off-season shoulder surgery when the season ended. And if he misses spring practice and you're bringing in Jeff Sims and maybe Malik Hornsby, I don't know what you're going to do here. There's some things you got to juggle. By the way, Jeff Sims comes from Georgia Tech to Lincoln with 3 years to play 2. Okay, 3 years to play 2.
Okay.
I mean, he could sit out, Jeff Sims, if they deem Casey's the guy. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I don't think that's what Jeff Sims will want to do. He's coming to compete. He told Sean, I think Sean was the only one to talk to him. He said, like any other quarterback, Jeff Sims said, I have to go in there and win it. Nothing is given. I'm going to have to go in there and work and win the job. I mean, it sounds to me like he's coming to,
Well, in today's day and age, do people really go to sit places?
No.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Not very
often. They go for playing time. If they don't play, they go somewhere else.
Yes. Okay, speaking of going somewhere else, Nebraska has, if they would get Hornsby, which, again, Sean thinks that's the way it's looking. If Nebraska would also get Malik Hornsby, the backup quarterback at Arkansas, that would be 7 scholarship quarterbacks.
That's not going to fly. Someone's got to go.
So that'd be Casey, Jeff Sims, Malik Hornsby, perhaps. Then you have Chubba Purdy. You have Logan Smothers. You have Heinrich Harburg. You have Richard Torres. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so.
I don't believe so. No.
No.
Got
I mean,
'em all.
like the Jarrett Seinecks of the world kind of go by the wayside here, right?
Right.
Although you might want to keep a walk-on or two. So, what do you do, Chubba Purdy? What do you do, Chubba?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, Chubba Purdy was at times the 2 and at times the 3 this year for Nebraska football.
Right. It's now Chubba had that awkward slide at Michigan, and he's got an injury situation of his own. Will he be available in the spring? Don't know. Hate bringing it up because I hate bringing up. It's my pet peeve to bring up things we don't know. But Matt Rule talks on Wednesday. Man, we got a lot to cover.
Can't
with
wait
Matt.
to hear from Matt Rule.
We got a lot to cover with Matt, right?
A ton to cover with.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback discussion could be a whole press conference, right?
Yes.
The quarterback discussion could be a whole press conference. What happens to Chubba? What's the deal with Logan? What's the deal with Casey? Are they really out for the spring? Logan Smothers also apparently had shoulder surgery. That's what Sean Callahan's reported. Logan Smothers shoulder surgery. Casey shoulder surgery. Where's Chubba at in his recovery? Heinrich Harburg. Apparently they like Heinrich Harburg. They told Heinrich Harburg, I don't know what the deal was before we got here, but we're here and we like you. Heinrich Harburg. Richard Torres. What's Richard thinking right now? I don't know. I don't.
What you have to be thinking is they're not going to have 7 quarterbacks be here. They can't have it happen. They got to thin it out somehow and say, hey, you probably should look elsewhere.
There's big news, more big news coming. Now, some of these kids might say, I want to go through spring and see if I can make a move. The problem is they can keep you from it. The coaches can keep you making a move by giving you very limited reps, bad reps, just bad reps, meaningless reps. And you can't make a move. So if I were in Richard Torres' shoes, Chubba's shoes, I'd get an idea where I'm at. You can get an idea. Just go and level with them. Go and level with the coaches. Say, could I be in your plan at all? And if they say, well, everybody's in the plan, you just got to compete. And then you got to keep pressing. You got to say, well, wait a second. I mean, you're not going to keep 7. So what are you thinking here? Right? Isn't that what you do?
Well,
isn't that what you do?
You do, but
that's what I do. I'd say, okay, wait a second here. How are you going to spread reps around?
Do you think that Matt Rule wants to enter the spring with 7 quarterbacks on the roster?
You used to have 5 guys.
This seems very confusing to me.
5 guys standing around.
Exactly. You can't properly give the reps to all those guys if it's going to be truly a competition. I mean, you kind of know which guys are probably your starting quarterbacks, right?
We should have.
If you don't have an idea out of 7 guys, you got a problem here.
Right.
It's either a good thing or a very bad thing. Usually, it's a very bad thing if you can't decide out of 7 guys.
So yeah, so very interesting development. I didn't necessarily expect that Sims would pop this weekend.
Well, I think it felt like. I mean, I'll speak on behalf of fans here. I think that when he visited and we didn't hear anything from that, it felt like, okay, Nebraska's moving on to Malik Hornsby. They're out on Jeff Sims, right? That's what it felt like to me. Maybe I'm wrong with that.
Kind of.
That's why I was surprised to hear yesterday that Jeff Sims was committing to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't an instant commitment when he visited Nebraska the first time.
I was at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I'm sure you were ecstatic to see that happen while you're pumping iron over there.
I was okay with it. I mean, Sean's covering.
You should sometimes write something while you're working out, like at the gym off your phone. Write an article, write a column there. See how it goes. See how proofread that thing is.
I think that would go good.
How many errors there are.
Jeff Sims played college ball for Jeff Collins. There's a connection here for Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech. Jeff Collins succeeded Matt Rule when he left Temple for Baylor. And then Collins eventually left Temple for Georgia Tech. So there's a connection, right?
Yes.
Sims had the quote we've heard for a while. Tell me if you've heard this.
Please
before.
read the quote to me.
Tell me if you've heard this before.
Uh-oh. I like that sound effect before this.
Jeff Sims is talking about Matt Rule. He knows how Nebraska was, and Rule has big expectations for Nebraska. He wants to get it back there, and that's what I want to do.
Well, what's he supposed to say?
I know.
I mean, yeah, of course it sounds like that's what you're supposed to say.
I know, and it's very genuine, and you hear it all the time. Got to get Nebraska back to where it was. that's right. And he's new. He doesn't understand it.
Yeah, well, he's
Zillion guys
allowed
have
to.
said
He's
that.
allowed to say that.
It's just
He's allowed
fine.
to.
It's yes, and it's me. I'm not mocking it. Me reacting the way I am is just a product of cynicism and just
So
being a general ass.
yeah, well, that's the case sometimes. So Nebraska gets Jeff Sims as a commitment. Do you have coffee, by the way, over there?
I don't. I have water.
Well, you're not too surly yet, which is good.
Yeah, thank you.
We're not fighting, which is good.
Yeah, well,
I think you want to, though. It's a party that wants to fight, but there's nothing to fight about right now. I haven't stirred anything up here. So Jeff Sims, the news yesterday again. Corey Collier from Florida, safety, University of not a high school, a University of Florida, Gator is transferring to Nebraska. Corey Collier,
out of the port. He's a portal
guy.
He's portaling.
He's portaling. Nebraska also gets Jalen Lloyd, a receiver from Omaha West Side, on the weekend.
That's right.
And then Ramir Stewart, a safety from Philadelphia with an impressive offer list.
High school kid. Now, I think today Eric Fields from Ardmore, Oklahoma, who's looks like a linebacker, could be a safety, could be an outside linebacker. Eric Fields. I think they'll get Eric Fields today, Nebraska.
Anybody else?
I don't know.
I can't imagine they don't have more news than just one person today.
Yeah, maybe more than one. Eric Fields' dad was a pretty good pro boxer out of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Eric Fields Sr. I think he was 24-4, something like that. Good record, 26-4, cruiserweight. So I think today you'll find him committing. Now Nebraska came in late, only Power 5 offer, but the kid had 180 tackles his senior year. That's 180 tackles his senior year. Had offers, but Nebraska was the first Power